What's up guys, Pac-Man does MTG here with another Magic the Gathering deck tech. This time I'm doing a video on my mono black deck that I have updated since the last time I made it. It's actually a lot more fun in my opinion running it like this. So let's get right into it. We have for our basic lands, simple, easy setup of 22 basic swamps. Just 22 regular basic swamp cards. Of course you need land, so 22 swamps is actually perfect since this deck is 60 cards. We have 22 basic swamps. That's perfectly fine. For our creatures, let's get right into it. Creatures, we have two of the Pharika's Chosen. They are 1 black with a 1/1 death touch. Self-explanatory. Great card to have in the beginning of the game for great defense and even maybe getting some very little damage in, like chip damage, to deal some damage to kill our creature, kill opponents. I mean, death touch. Fantastic. Then we get into our next two creatures. We have two other 1/1 drops. Asphodel Wanderer. For 1 black, we get a 1/1 that we can tap 1 black and 2 to regenerate it. So a regeneration card to basically never leave the battlefield. It dies, but it comes back. So it's really good to have. That is our 1-drops. Not very many, I know. Then we get into our 2-drop cards. Our 2-drop cards, we have some good cards for the deck, of course. We have Corpse Haulers, 1 black and 1. We get a 2/1 that we can tap 1 black and 2 to sacrifice this card and return another target creature card from our graveyard to our hand. So return some creatures from our graveyards to our hand. Always useful. 2/1 creature also for 2 isn't bad. So this is a good card to have as well, for obvious reasons. Now we get into our other 2-drops. That is the beautiful, I love this card, Spiteful Return. 1 black and 1, we get a card that you can bestow for 1 black and 4 to give another creature +1/+1, and the ability that it has whenever this attacks and or the enchanted creature attacks, defending player loses 2 life. And it's a 1/1 creature that you play, or you can play as an enchantment to give a creature +1/+1 and have it whenever that creature attacks, you lose 2 life. Spiteful Return's always been good for mono black. I love these cards. And I might actually end up adding one more in and taking a card out that I'll explain later. So yeah, stay tuned. Let's get into our next cards here. We have a 3-drop. We have only one of these because I've only drawn one, but this card is fantastic. Liliana, Heretical Healer. For 2 black and 1, we get a creature that is 2/3 lifelink. But whenever another non-token creature you control dies, we exile her, and then return her to the battlefield under our control, transformed. And it puts out a 2/2 black zombie token onto the field as well. She's a 2/3 starting off, but once she transforms, she becomes the Planeswalker, Liliana, Defiant Necromancer. For +2, she starts off with a royalty of 3. +2, each player discards a card. For -X, we return a target non-legendary creature card with a converted mana cost of X or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. And then for -8, we get an emblem that whenever a creature we control dies, return it to the battlefield under our whenever a creature dies, return it to the battlefield under our control at the beginning of the next end step. So this is a great Planeswalker for obvious reasons, and a great card in general. So that is Liliana, Heretical Healer, and Liliana, Defiant Necromancer. Of course, that's a great card to have. That is one of the many transformation cards we have in this mono black deck for some weird reason. But we're taking out one of those transformation cards for another Spiteful Return, so stay tuned. We also have I love this card, and I'm going to probably get more and more of these as well. I don't know what I'll take out. I'll update the deck list in the description below when I finally do get the deck finished. But this is still a good card deck to run the way it is now. So here we are, Master of the Feast. For 2 black and 1, we get a 5/5 flyer. The only downside, and it's not even really a downside, at the beginning of your turn, each opponent gets to draw a card as well. That's not really a downside. It's a 5/5 flyer for 3. You get a 5/5 flyer out turn 3 and you're set. This is a great card to have. I love this card. Now we get into our next 2 cards. These are 2 transformation cards. we have Screeching Bat. We have 2 of these, of course, but the transformation is the other card showing. For 1 black and 2, we get a flying that is a 2/2, and at the beginning of your turn, you can tap 2 black and 2 to transform it into a 5/5 stalking vampire. And at the beginning of her upkeep, again, you could tap 2 black and 2 to return it right back to a flyer with 2/2. So you can transform these back and forth. You can have a 5/5 on ground or a 2/2 flyer. Basically, if you need whichever one you need more, power or flying. So that is that. Basically, that's literally the point of that card. Then we get into our other transformation cards here. This is another one that I have. The Kindly Strangers. Not really kind. For 1 black and 2, we get a 2/3 that whenever we have 4 more card types in our graveyard, we can tap 1 black and 2 to transform it into a demon-possessed witch. 4/3 that whenever it transforms into demon-possessed witch, destroy target creature. So again, this is one of those cards that's really, really good to have, I guess. We get to destroy a creature whenever we get the 4 cards in our graveyard. So, yeah, fantastic. Now we get into our 4 mana drop creatures, and these are, of course, always good. The 4 mana drop that I'm about to switch out for Spiteful Return is also coming up, so that'll happen. But we definitely need these in mono black. Paragon of Open Graves. 1 black and 3, we get other black creatures that control get a +1/+1. 2/2 that can tap for 1 black and 2 and tap this. Another target black creature gains Death Touch until end of turn. So we have 2 of these guys for obvious reasons. And then this is the card that I'm going to switch out for Spiteful Returned. But she's good to run as also. It's one of the newer cards from Shadows over Innistrad. Accursed Witch. 1 black and 3, you get a spell, a 4/2, that the spells your opponents cast to target her cost 1 less colorless to cast. But when she dies, you return her to the battlefield, transformed attached to an opponent. Attached being the reason because she becomes the Infectious Curse. She's an enchantment that enchants the player, and the spells your opponent that you cost to cast on that enchanted player cost 1 less colorless. And at the beginning of that person's turn, they lose a life and you gain a life. The real reason I'm kind of iffy about taking her out is because I have another enchantment that works very well with this if I can get it out right. Honestly, I might keep this in. This is a very good card now that I think about it for the enchantment that I'm running, which this enchantment is hilarious. But yeah, this is a very good card. I actually might keep it in. Scratch what I said earlier. This will probably stay in the deck. I didn't even think about that combo. Very good combo. We'll explain later. Put the sleep back on. Okay. And then, of course, for mono black, you always need a squelching leeches. For 2 black, 2 colorless, you get its power and toughness is equal to the number of swamps you control. Big creature when you get your big mana out there. So, yeah. Power and toughness is equal to the swamps you control. Obvious explanation. And again, mono black, you always need good cards. So, we have 2 nightmares. 1 black and 5. Flying, its power and toughness is equal to the number of swamps you control. A flyer that is a 6/6 no matter what, because it's a 6 mana cost. So you have only black cards, and it's a 6 mana cost, and your power and toughness is equal to the number of swamps. Plus your Paragon of Open Graves, it's going to get a +1/+1, so it'll actually have 1 more. If you have 2 Paragon of Open Graves, it'll have 2 more than the swamps you control. Either way, this is a great card. And then we have our last creature, an Aberrant Overlord. For 2 black and 5, we get a flyer 6/6 that when it enters the battlefield, you put 1/1 black X 1/1 black card piece out, which is equal to the devotion to black. So however much mana cost and the permanence of black you have out is how much black harpies you get out with flying. Fantastic. But at the beginning of your turn, you have to sacrifice a creature. So that's kind of the downside of having Aberrant Overlord. But by the time this guy gets out, you're already going to be almost done with the game, and you'll be able to win easily. So it's not a problem. Now we get into our instants and sorceries. We have, for sorceries, we're going to just start it off with that. We have 4 of the mono black Mind Rots. 1 black and 2, you get to have a target player discard 2 cards. mono black discards is always fun. So, Mind Rot, fun. Our other sorceries are pretty helpful, actually, for the kindly strangers. We have Bitter Revelations. These are also good to dig. For 1 black and 3, we get to look at the top 4, put 2 of them in our hand and the other 2 in the graveyard, and we lose 2 life. But this is still a good card to have because we get to dig and get 2 cards from the top 4. But yeah, it's a good card to have. And then we have our 2 other sorceries that are absolutely fantastic. Corrupt. 1 black and 5. It deals damage equal to a target creature or a target player, equal to the number of swamps you control, and you gain life equal to the damage dealt. So you got 6 damage going on no matter what, and you gain 6 life no matter what. Unless you have more than that on swamps, and you just deal a shit ton of damage and then a shit ton of life. Great card, I love it. Then we go into instants and sorceries. I'm sorry, I've been itching my nose so much. This is irritating the hell out of me. I have a really bad itch. So now our instants. Our instants are mainly based on kill spells, damage spells, stuff like that. We have 2 Pharika's Cures. For 2 black, we get to deal 2 damage to a creature, to a creature and gain 2 life. Kill something off early, gain life for it. Always good. Then we have 3 of the perfect mono black cards. Doomblades. 1 black and 1, we get to destroy a target non-black creature. For 3 of those in the deck to destroy a creature if they're not black. Then, of course, if they are black, we have 3 of the beautiful Murders. Destroy target creature for 2 black and 1. Get it out of the way. I also want to get Hero's Downfall because there's pesky planeswalkers that I've ran into that I'm just like, damn, I have no answer for that unless it's corrupt. But Hero's Downfall for 2 black and 1, you just get to destroy a target creature or a planeswalker. I might replace Murder for those later, so keep that in mind. And then our one and last card in the deck. I love this card. It's so funny. Me and my brother had a great time playing this card because it's for every player. And it's literally Triskaidekaphobia. It's the Fear of 13. 1 black and 3. At the beginning of your upkeep, you choose to either have each player with exactly 13 life loses the game, and every other player loses 1 life or gains 1 life. So you get to choose, everybody gets to either gain a life or lose a life, and if you're at 13 in the beginning of your next turn, that player dies, even if it's you. I had Pharika's Cure, I was at 11 life, I deal 2 damage to a creature and gain 2, and my brother Ricky was like, okay, and I looked at my health and I'm like, oh shit, never mind, because I would have died the next turn. So Triskaidekaphobia is hilarious. This card's great. I love it. And that is my mono black deck. It's literally just kind of there. It's still fun to play. The Triskaidekaphobia is fun as hell. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. That is my mono black deck. And yeah, I guess I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching, and leave a like and subscribe if you want. If not, that's cool. I will see you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.